All right, well, Darcie Kent was nice enough to stop by the studio here. Darcie, how are you today?
I'm very good.
Excellent.
It's been so fun to come home. When I was here, we used to come here every year when I was growing up as a small child, and I've never driven here. And I've just been zooming around. I've been going, through the boulevards and through the Craig Park system, and it's like I know how to get everywhere. It's like, wow, that's pretty surprising after all these years.
Oh, that's great. If you grow up here, though, I think you just never forget something.
No, you just don't. It's so nothing is. It's just as beautiful. The flowers are all blooming. The park looks amazing. It's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a little bit of history and coming back and enjoying yourself, how did you feel about yesterday?
Yesterday was amazing. We, as we pulled up to the house and were able to all of a sudden see all this part of my history that I'd never really been able to explore before, it was amazing. It's hard to find words to describe it because it touches you so deeply. Yeah.
I think, well, we've got the pictures to prove it. I've got some really good shots of you, especially with the artwork. How did the artwork make you feel when you first saw the artwork?
It's incredible, and I had the sneak peek because Paul Gatewood, who's the owner of the house, had sent me a few photos of it. So I'd kind of gotten over the shock and the crying through that, and we all laughed about that, how I just broke down crying when he told me that he found the murals, because the murals were always a part of our lore. They were kind of a holy grail of our family, sort of, that we never ever thought we would ever see again. And my mom, before she died, she had said, Carol Jean Schultz, she had talked about, one of her greatest regrets was that they never took pictures of those murals, and they described them, how the murals were of paintings of Switzerland and of our family's home estate in Switzerland, and they were lost. And at my dad's funeral this year, Rick Tilton, I talked to her brother, and one of his, at the funeral, he kept saying, I'm so sad that we never, were able to see the murals and take pictures of them and see them before they were lost. And so when Paul told me they were there, and then walking and seeing them and touching them for the first time last night was amazing. It was the best thing I've ever done, other than have my children and get married. Really, it means that much to me. It's amazing.
That's great, and they've stayed in incredible shape over the years.
Yes.
I've noticed the textures are still there.
Oh, yeah.
The fine detail in the right lighting, it's all there.
It is. It's amazing. I'm using that word too often, but it really was this incredible experience to see that, and to see these things that are still part of, in Frutigen, where the family still hails from, those shots, those scenes, and also the scenes of around, where the winery, how the winery looked in those days, and the landscape around them with the deer. It was very, it just showed me what they were thinking about and what they loved.
Well, and you also got another surprise from Paul's father.
Yes.
What was that?
That was he presented me with a bottle of wine that he had found in the yard. I actually have it in the car. I don't know if you want me to go get it.
No, it's fine. We'll throw it up over the screen.
Okay. Yeah. What he brought to me was a bottle that he had found when he was working in the yard years before, and it's a beautiful dark green bottle. It's got the deepest punt. This was a very expensive bottle for that day.
Yeah, and it weighed a ton.
And it weighed a ton, and it shows that this winery was a quality winery, because you see it in the glass. You don't spend the money on that kind of a handcrafted glass bottle unless you're doing nice wines.
Sure.
So it's about their pride as the Alpine winery, as the Rugsugger family doing these wines, and that was really special to see, because the only thing that I've had is a bottle that was more from the 40s, and it was a much different bottle, and it had no punt and was cheaper glass, and so it gave me last night, it showed me an entirely different thing about the winery that I didn't know before.
That's great. From the first part, the first story 2 months ago, there was the mythical casks that were buried beneath the garage.
Yes.
Now, yesterday you talked to Paul, and I filmed a little bit of that. What is maybe coming up in the future for the unearthing of these things?
We do want to go in with an excavator and with the professional excavation team and try to dig around those and see if we can pull together that wood, because it will have been preserved in the ground, but we don't know if it's completely destroyed and to dust, or if the casts are pretty much still there. So we want to dig up around them and see if we can bring that back to life.
That would be absolutely amazing.
Yes.
To have some more wine from the old Alpine.
I would love to do that too. We are planning to do a small lot of Alpine red and Alpine white. So that I'll utilize my great-grandfather's old label in the art, and I hope to have that out in about a year from now.
That sounds great. I want to thank you for stopping by, Darcie.
Thank you
so much. It's
so
been absolutely
much,
a pleasure
Jeremy.
doing this story.
It's been
I had so much fun yesterday.
Great fun. You have helped me so much unearth things that I never understood, never knew about my family. I'm so grateful to you.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Darcie Kent with Darcie Kent Vineyards.